Good evening, viewers. Welcome to the session. There's a lot of activity happening all around us, and it has left the world in a sort of tense moments. For U.S. and Israel have attacked Iran as Tehran retaliates across Middle East. Now, the U.S. President Donald Trump called for regime change in Tehran, telling Iranians the hour of your freedom is at hand. The US and Israel have attacked Iran. Israel said its strike targeted Iran's supreme leader, president, and head of the armed forces. The US is planning for several days of attacks, sources told media. Now, Trump calls for a regime change. President Donald Trump described the US military campaign as massive and ongoing and warned American lives may be lost. He also called on Iranians to take over their government. So in between all this, we also saw some visuals of women dancing in the streets, removing their headscarves. Now, Iran launched an unprecedented wave of strikes towards Israel and US targets across the Middle East. Explosions were reported in the UAE, Bahrain, and Qatar, and in Dubai, where all flights to and from airports have been suspended. Now, the UAE called the conflict a historic moment in the Middle East, saying world leaders had failed to ensure the region's stability. The leaders of some US allies expressed concern, while some Arab nations condemned Iran's retaliation. Now, the most important question is, where is Khamenei? So that's what everybody is now asking. So apparently, the first image, first photo of his obliterated home just emerges. An American newspaper has put out satellite imagery showing the extent of damage caused to the official residence of Iran's supreme leader Ayatollah Khomeini. The photo, shared by New York Times journalist Christian Tribert on social media platform X, shows the compound completely obliterated in the airstrikes that reportedly started around 10:30 a.m. on Saturday. Now, speculation swirled on Saturday about the location of Khamenei, and following the bold daylight assault on Tehran by Israel and the US, with initial blasts reported close to his central city offices. So now this has come as a complete shock for many countries, especially around the Middle East. So, and this man has gone into hiding, and they say he has gone underground, but people are not sure whether he's in the country at all. Now, UAE has halted all operations to and from Dubai amid escalating Middle East conflict, and several Gulf states closed or restricted their airspace, prompting widespread flight suspensions and rerouting. Now, Dubai-based Emirates has temporarily suspended all operations to and from Dubai following multiple airspace closures across the Middle East as regional tensions escalated sharply after the US and Israel launched major strikes on Iran. So this doesn't come as a shock, but what remains quite questionable is that will Iran react like the other countries that US has earlier attacked and tried to control? Because, as you know, Iran is not the type of country to cow down. So this is something that is worrying most people. So moving on to let's move on to the next piece of news. So now, meanwhile, in India, now the BJP on Friday cited various books to allege that former Prime Minister Indira Gandhi was compromised with influence from external forces, and said the Congress and Rahul Gandhi will be left with no respect in people's eyes. Addressing a press conference at the party headquarters here, BJP spokesperson Sudhanshu Trivedi also alleged that the Congress received money from American spy agency CIA and the erstwhile Soviet Union's KGB on various occasions when Indira Gandhi was at the helm of affairs. The BJP leader slammed the Congress and Rahul Gandhi for their repeated allegations against the Modi government over the India-US interim trade deal, calling them sponsored and organized propaganda by the opposition party. Now, Sudhanshu Trivedi alleged at a press conference that the Congress received money from the American spy agency CIA and the Soviet Union's KGB on multiple occasions when Indira Gandhi was in power. He claimed that as part of an argument that the former Prime Minister was compromised by foreign intelligence agencies and that the party's reputation would suffer if more such incidents were highlighted. He also criticized the Congress and Rahul Gandhi over their attacks on the current government about the Indian US interim trade deal, calling them sponsored and organized propaganda. He said that books and accounts from the past would come to light, suggesting more evidence against the Congress leadership would be revealed. He further added specific historical claims, including that under KGB influence, the Indian rupee exchange rate was manipulated to benefit Soviet imports, and that there were instances related to Pakistan's nuclear program where Indira Gandhi didn't allow offensive action, despite Israel's readiness to assist. The BJP's recent remarks form part of a broader political battle with the Congress about foreign influence, national security, and historical governance. Moving on to the next piece of news. The Enforcement Directorate on Thursday grilled Reliance Group chairman Anil Ambani for more than 9 hours during the second round of questioning in connection with an alleged bank fraud linked money laundering case related to his group company RCOM. He has been called again for questioning on Friday, which was February 27th, in a separate case linked to an alleged loan fraud against the Yes Bank, they said. The 66-year-old industrialist entered the Federal Probe Agency's office in central Delhi around 10:30 a.m. and left around 8:20 p.m. Officials in the agency said they have recorded his statement under the provisions of the Prevention of Money Laundering Act. The probe pertains to an alleged bank fraud worth more than 40,000 crores by his group company, Reliance Communication RCOM. Moving on to another piece of news, which is now since Priyanka Chopra's movie is going to hit the scene soon. Now suddenly, again, you always notice that this lady comes into all the press interviews whenever her movie is going to be released, and her only point of discussion is she has been an outsider who's been kicked out by insiders like Karan Johars. Now, on Jay Shetty's podcast, Priyanka Chopra said, surviving in the movie industry is tough for everyone. It is not an easy place. It is political networking. It is about the moment. It is fleeting. I'm pragmatic enough to recognize that everyone has their struggle because of their choices. I did feel that like I was in a place where I was cornered, work was limited, and in order to survive emotionally, mentally, and physically, I just needed to move. She added, I was in the space where I was doing good work, but I didn't see the longevity that I wanted in my situation. Speaking of the 2 years of her pop star era before her big Hollywood break in Quantico, she revealed, I was blown away by being in the studio with people, like Pitbull and the Chainsmokers. I met the most incredible people during this 2 year pop star era of mine. It was such a welcome change. It was a breath of fresh air. I was feeling like I was drowning and I was suddenly pulled out and I could breathe. The universe just kind of timed itself together. I was feeling very limited in my work in Hindi movies and I felt I didn't have a direction. This was like an olive branch, she concluded. And Kangana has rekindled her feud with director-producer Karan Johar, reacting to Priyanka's interview in which she said she had to move away to the US as career opportunities dried up in Bollywood with her due to her falling out with some influential people. Now, Kangana spoke out in her favor and claimed that "Ye Dil Hai Mushkil" director Karan Johar was the one who orchestrated her exclusion from Bollywood. Ranaut alleged on Twitter that Johar had Chopra banned due to a friendship with Shah Rukh Khan and harassed her to a point where she had to leave India. She shared an article of Chopra's interview and wrote, "This is what Priyanka Chopra has to say about Bollywood. People ganged up on her, bullied her, and chased her out of the film industry. A self-made woman was made to leave India everyone knows Karan Johar had banned her, describing Johar as a movie mafia Cruella, always looking for vulnerable outsiders as punchbacks. She blamed him for ruining the culture and environment of Bollywood, which was, according to her earlier, more welcoming to outsiders like Amitabh Bachchan and Shah Rukh Khan. His gang and mafia PR should be raided and held accountable for harassing outsiders, Kangana wrote in a tweet that went viral on the microblogging platform. And Kangana and Chopra used to be close. When the latter was active in Bollywood, they starred together in the movie Fashion, directed by Madhur Bhandarkar. On the work front, Kangana is busy with her next film, the Indira Gandhi biopic Emergency. Chopra is preparing for her Bollywood comeback with G. Le Zara, which will also star Alia Bhatt and Katrina Kaif. Now, Karan Johar he's never been shy about speaking about his personal and professional struggles on public platforms. Recently, he spoke openly about talent management and why loyalty is rare in showbiz today. In a conversation with Screen, he shared his thoughts on actors changing agencies frequently. Karan Johar, who co-owns Dharma Cornerstone Agency, said that shifting from one agency to another has become common. According to him, insecurity plays a big role in this pattern. Without taking any names, he said every 2 years, people are shifting from one agency to another because they're so insecure that they feel we are time bound. Nobody is loyal in this business. Actors just keep hopping and skipping. So you put 2 years of your life into a talent and they suddenly move somewhere else, and then they don't like it there and they want to come back. This is a vicious cycle. The filmmaker's comments comes a few months after Janhvi Kapoor exited Dharma Cornerstone's agency and moved to Collective Artists Network. He said that while stepping into talent management felt natural for him, over the years he has worked closely with actors and understands their mindset. He explained 90% of his business is about handling people, their egos, insecurities, and this is not easy, is what he says. So let me take a few comments. Welcome, Gloria. Welcome, Nina. And welcome, Vijay. Most education in India know that Indira Gandhi was compromised PM. She released 99,000 prisoners of war without getting POK was a great mistake, is what Vijay says. And Nina says Karan Johar made SSR's life hell. Yes. And it's not only SSR. Now they're talking about Kangana and they're also talking about Priyanka. These are just the few voices which are being heard. I'm sure there are millions of others who he has destroyed. Now moving on to the next piece of news, the Kerala story 2 goes beyond, has addressed the media after the Kerala High Court lifted the interim stay on the film's release. The producer shared that the examining committee was of 8 members. Shah welcomed the verdict of HC during his address, and what happened was there was going to be a premiere of the movie Kerala 2, which many of us were going to attend, and then the High Court judgment from Kerala said that the movie cannot be shown now, and thus that premiere was not shown to the people. Now, on Friday, Vipul Shah held a press conference in Mumbai after the Kerala High Court's judgment of lifting the stay on the movie's release. He shared the details of the court proceeding in his interaction with the media. He said, "Now there's no point in further discussions following the High Court's order. The honorable judges did not find any shortcoming in the functioning of the Central Board of Film Certification." The producer stated that the Kerala Story 2 was revived by an 8-member committee instead of a 5-member committee on the board. Further sharing more information, he said the members, including 2 social workers from Kerala, as well to ensure that there was no misrepresentation related to the state. He further shared that there was no reason to question the certification granted by the Central Board of Film Certification. He said a professor from Delhi, an expert in socio-political subjects, was also invited to the screening. The producer went on to add, after these 3 experts viewed the movie and shared their feedback, the certificate was granted by the CBFC. While the court may have initially overlooked this aspect, the subsequent bench acknowledged the expert opinions and concluded there was no reason to question the certification. Now, what I find rather strange, friends, is that whenever a movie, about the truth about what happened regarding love jihad and such aspects which are killing so many of the Hindu women, and are shown, all sorts of ban, and all the courts go into action to support these support steps to not show this movie. I don't understand, when the movie has done thorough research, when it has already undergone a certification, why is the court coming into everything is the question. Now, without sounding, without criticizing the judiciary, I always find that, see, there's so much more that the judiciary can do to solve the cases that are going on, which are delayed for over 5 years. Only recently, we did in detail, the sort of Janvi Kukreja case, which took 5 years, to come to a verdict, and a verdict that nobody agrees on, because out of the two who were guilty, one was given a life sentence, the other was let go. So I don't know. Everything seems to be so topsy turvy, and now we see, in this liquor scandal where the whole of ARP were involved. Suddenly, these people are let loose. So we really don't know what's happening, because I would really tell the respected judiciary, please solve your cases first before coming into such areas where people don't think that the directors who are making movies are irresponsible people. They're making movies based on facts. And it's only after all the kind of research that they do that they bring out movies. And I find it's very strange that it's only when it comes, any movie comes, which is against Hindus, which is, those movies are shown without any problem. But the moment problems involving Hindus are shown, almost everybody, including the dogs in the corner, have to bark about it. So it's a very sad situation. Thank you, Leena. I think with the weather change, a lot of us have undergone a spell of cough and flu. So just recovering from that. Thank you so much. Thank you. And we always love to have all of you join us, because whenever all of you are around, we feel like a big family who listens and gives us a kind of encouragement that makes us go on. Thank you so much, Leena. British laws not revoked. That is, yes. Why date after date? Exactly. And see, also you remember when Kerala Story 1 was out, the kind of protest that came, and the kind of what it exposed. It was shocking for everybody, because see, not all the people are educated and read about what's happening all over the world. There are a lot of sections of people who really don't know what's happening, and movies like this open everybody's eyes, whether it's in the villages or smaller towns. So it's very important that we bring out movies that reflect the truth and also protect our women, because Hindu women are soft targets. So this is something very, very important. And I'm very glad, and I'll be watching this movie shortly, and I'll give you a complete review of the movie so that you know what is happening. Meanwhile, friends, please do listen to the Janvi Kukreja verdict. I was very upset when I heard the verdict, and we spoke to the the mother as well as the learned lawyer, the advocate, also Pradeep Ghairat, who is a very, very bold lawyer and advocate, and who has been speaking for Niti Kukreja, the mother of Janvi Kukreja. Please do listen to this, because it did make my blood boil, as it did, I'm sure, many of you who have been following this case for the last 5 years. A young girl who went for a party, New Year's party, with her friends, very close friends who, one of the girl who was her best friend since childhood, and another boy, and when they went to this party on New Year's Eve, what transpired after that is beyond shock. She was stabbed so many times and pulled down so many stairs, and the lawyer was saying we could not even show the images to the mother. The girl died on the spot. And while the friend, both the friends were, the court said that they were guilty, but they said in the girl's case, she was given the benefit of doubt and she was released, while the boy has been given a life sentence. So I really felt very, very upset, and I'm sure the mother would have undergone another million deaths, when she heard the verdict. But I have been assured that they're going to appeal, and they will not leave this case as such. Dina says, saw that it was very sad. What were her friends doing? Why did they run to save her? It was her friends who were a part of it, Leena. And that's the sad part of it. This is what the court has said. Of course, there's much more to it. There are a million questions which we ask, and also the fact that a lot of the proof has been tampered by perhaps the Mumbai police at that time. As you know, famous it was this the person who investigated was Trimuke. You remember, the one who was involved in the SSR case as well. So these people cannot be trusted. Anyway, this is something that has upset a lot of us. So with this, we conclude this session. Good night, Jai Hind, and Jai Shri Ram.